Okay. Hi, hello English readers, and welcome to Lydie's Book Club. I'm Lydie Bureau, and this week, we're starting a new session, a new live reading session. I'm an English teacher in France. I'm also the founder of Lydie's Book Club, in which I host live readings of adaptations of English literature and contemporary novels. And once a week, I meet the members of the book club in a live workshop via Zoom to discuss the chapters of the book that we are currently reading. And this month, it's Daisy Jones and the Six. In this book club, I also tend to prioritize books that are written by women. And this month, we are reading this book, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And it's aimed at people that it's the original text. Yeah. So if you have a C1 or you're an advanced learner, you are quite comfortable with English, then and if you like rock music, the 70s, in America, then you might like this book. And over this 3 weeks, I'm going to host 11 live reading sessions. So far we've have done four sessions already. And we have 2 weeks left reading this book. And if you're not able to attend the live sessions on Instagram, then you can always watch the videos on my YouTube channel and on Spotify podcast, Read in English. In addition to these 11 live reading sessions hosted on Instagram, I will also host 3 live workshops, and I've done already one last week on Daisy Jones and the Six in order to discuss the chapters that we are reading during the week. And these live workshops are hosted on Zoom. And if you want to have access to these workshops, then you have to become a member of the book club. And you can sign up on my website. You can just click on the link below this video. So yeah, I'm also excited to announce that you can now purchase the 3-part live workshop on white teeth. This is this book that we have read last month. It's aimed at B2 or upper intermediate level in English. So if you are in the right level, then you might like this book. If you're interested in British culture and topics of identities and immigrations and all sorts of topic related to that, check out online what the book is about. And you can also get more information on my YouTube channel and on my podcast. The episode 21 is an introduction of the book and the author, Zadie Smith. And this way you can have a look at what the book is about, and then maybe buy the workshop and have a look at what it's like to be in Lydie's Book Club. And this way, once you purchase the book, the live workshop, then you have a private access. When you create your login, you have a private access to the 3 videos of the workshop, and you can just watch them whenever you want. All right, so today is live reading session 5, and we are going to read pages 79 to 82, entitled First. And if you would like to know more about Taylor Jenkins Reid and her work and this novel, Daisy Jones and the Six, I invite you to listen to the podcast episode 22, an introduction to Taylor Jenkins Reid and Daisy Jones and the Six. And it's available on YouTube and Spotify if you would like to know if you want to know a bit more about this novel and about the author as well, then go and check out this podcast. Hi, Alice. Hello. Hello, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Okay, well, I hope you're gonna like the session and yeah, maybe improve your English this way. Okay, right, let's go. Okay, so before I get started, I'm going to do a quick recap of the long chapter debut, the section of the book that we have read on Friday. So that is that section, if I refresh my mind and yours as well, if you are also reading it. So this section was about the starting point of the 6 really having a big success, having a lot of success with their music, touring all around the US, and also the recording of their first album. Yeah, so that is something that is a turning point in their in the band's well, in the musician's career and the band evolution. So in the beginning of the chapter, we learn that Billy is very much the leading man in the band. He works very close with the manager, I think, with Rod, and the producer as well. Let me remember. Yeah, I think Rod, the manager, and the producer of the album, they're very much, yeah, the lead engineer, Artie Snyder, as well. He is very much the person that the record company is talking to. All the other members are a little bit in the background, so it feels more like it's Billy's band, and the rest are like more or less in the background. They don't have much a say in the production of the album and the making of the album. So you can have a sense that Eddie is a little bit bitter about this. At some point he says no one was allowed in the studio except Teddy and Billy. So we really see that it's a one-man band in a way, and that the other members' opinion doesn't really count. And for some members of the band, like Warren or Graham, they don't really mind, but I think it bothers more Eddie than the others. So yeah, that's quite an important aspect here to highlight in terms of the band dynamic. In the meantime, Billy learns that Camilla is pregnant, or Camilla reveals Billy that she is 7 weeks pregnant before they get on tour. They had planned to get married after the tour, but the fact that Camilla gets pregnant kind of precipitate the couple and Billy, and more specifically Billy, to take the decision to get married before the tour, so that that would mean something. The fact that she's pregnant, he feels the responsibility to get married, to officialize the relationship, and make this couple a real family now that she's pregnant, and makes things and do things properly. Like, you see that although there is a lot of liberation and and uh, life experiences in terms of, you know, a lot of drugs is happening. They're all taking drugs and they feel they want to be free and all that. And at the same time, you've got the pressure, society pressure, and also the constructed vision of what it's about to be a family, and what it implies to a couple that is having a child. You have to then follow the rules in a way, or you have this social construct that is printed in people's mind, and they you can really see that in Billy. Although he's a rock star and they're having fun, there is still this part of reality, life events that brings you back to reality in a way. Yeah. Right. So they get married in a rush. They organize a quick ceremony and stuff. And then they leave, they go on tour, but Billy is not in his right mind. The band is just, the career of the band is just taking off, and the recording of the album is just is also a big success. The sound is great. I mean, there is a good feedback from the producer and from the record label. They're very happy, and the band is well received by the critic as well. So there is a lot happening. And on top of that, he learns that she's pregnant. He's going to be a father. And that's just too much for him to handle. Remember, they're quite young as well. And knowing that Billy also has a lot to deal with in terms of personal issue and his relationship, or his relationship with his dad, or the relation or the feelings that he has towards his dad, and the fact that he abandoned them. And remember the scene at the wedding where Billy sees his father and realizes that he doesn't recognize them playing on stage for this wedding. So it's a heartbreaking feeling for Billy. He's very affected by the rejection in a way of his dad, because it really feels like a rejection to him. And for Graham as well, it's a big pain, but for Billy, we can see that it's a real struggle, and you can see that he's not at peace with it. So they're going on tour, and Billy starts taking a lot of drugs and cheating on Camilla. He's really going hard on things: drugs, drinking, and girls. And people and all the members of the band are just watching, or being they are witnessing this. And Karen, more specifically, is very much hurt and feels really uncomfortable being in the middle of this, and knowing that she really loves Camilla. She really appreciates her. I mean, it's her friend, and she doesn't know how to handle this situation, and doesn't want to have to be in the middle of this. And at some point, Camilla senses that something is not right, and she meets them on tour at some point in one of the city, and she decides, and when she arrives, yeah, it's a surprise. She didn't say to anyone, and she arrives she meets the band, and Billy is in the bus, I think, is in the bus with a girl, sleeping with a girl, and Camilla enters, go inside the bus, and she sees them while they were doing it. And yeah, for Camilla, this is a big this is a very quite exciting scene, I would say, because we see here the power of Camilla and her strength. We see clearly, although Karen talked a little bit about Camilla and saying that she was a force of nature. She always had what she wanted. Here, we have a real sense of Camilla's strength, and the fact that she's not gonna let him destroy what they have built so far, and she's not gonna take his bullshit, and she's going to give him an ultimatum so that he puts himself together, pull his shit together, as one would say. So yeah, it's a big moment in the novel, and it's also, I personally feel that in the series it's well adapted as well, and the actress playing Camilla is very good in her role here. So she doesn't take the bullshit, Billy's bullshit. It's quite nice. So we see here a strong female character. And she tells him that he needs to get sober by the end of the year, but that doesn't solve anything. He doesn't really fix himself. Actually, it's the opposite. He's going to go harder. He's going to drink even more, having more girls, and take even more drugs. He nearly took heroin. Yeah, I think it took at some point heroin. So it really went hard on the drugs and the drinking and everything. So so when Camilla gave birth, it was he was just in such a miserable state that he couldn't even attend the birth. He couldn't even see his own daughter when she was born. So at that point, when Camilla sees Teddy instead of her husband in the maternity room, then she tells him either he comes up and he's a dad, or he goes to rehab. And well, Billy took the second option because he didn't want his daughter to see him like that, in that state. He did not want to her to have this image. It's very, yes, Billy has a very strong opinion on what, in terms of fatherhood. He's been so deeply affected by his own father's behavior that he doesn't want, it's something that is really attached to the fact that he wants to be a better father than his own father, basically. Not repeating the same, breaking the circle in a way. So he decides to go to rehab, and it's only after 2 months, 63 days exactly, that he finally meets his daughter at the rehab center, the rehabilitation center, and make a promise, and he makes a promise to his daughter and his wife Camilla to be a better man, and to hold on to this promise for until the end and forever. So he's making this promise to her, and yeah, this is how the chapter ends, and we'll see how if Billy keeps his promises and his promise, and what will happen next. Okay, let's read now first. It's a short chapter, so it's going to be a short read. So here it's over the course of 1 year, from 1974 to 1975. Okay. By 1974, Daisy Jones had refused to show up to any of her recording sessions at the record plant in West Hollywood, and was in breach of contract with Runner Records. So here it's about Daisy's life, or period of life. And first is actually, you will see, I'll spoil a little bit here, it's the name of her first album. And we can see that she's not attending her recording sessions. Remember, she is in disagreement with the record label because they don't want her to sing her songs, but other people's songs, and she wants to sing her songs. So that's why she's boycotting the recording sessions. Okay. Meanwhile, Simone Jackson, now signed with Supersite Records, was finding international success with her R&B dance hits, which would come to be seen as classics of the proto-disco genre. With her songs The Love Drug and Make Me Move, Simone was topping the dance club charts in France and Germany. As Simone set out to tour Europe the summer of 74, Daisy was growing more and more restless. Daisy. I was spending my days getting sunburns and my nights getting high. I had stopped writing songs because I didn't see a point to it if no one would let me record them. Hank was checking on me every day, pretending he was doting on me, but really just trying to convince me to get to the studio. Remember, Hank is her manager. Like I was some sort of prize horse that wouldn't race. Then one day, Teddy Price shows up at my door. He was put in charge of me, I guess. Teddy Price, which is, you know, the same guy. He is the I think is the CEO. Yeah, is the CEO of the record company. He was put in charge of me, I guess. He was supposed to convince me to show up to the studio. Teddy was probably in his 40s or 50s around then. British guy, really charming, kind of paternal. I opened the door to see him on my doorstep, and he doesn't even say hello. He says, "Let's cut the crap, Daisy. You need to record the album or runners taking you to court." I said, "I don't care about any of that. They can take their money. They can take their money back, get me kicked out of here if they want. I live in a cardboard box." I was very annoying. I had no idea what it meant to truly suffer. Teddy said, "Just get in the studio, love." "How hard is that?" I told him, I want to write my own stuff. I think I even crossed my arms in front of my chest like a child. He said, "I've read your stuff. Some of it's really good, but you don't have a single song that's finished. You don't have anything ready to be recorded." He said I should fulfill my contract with Runner, and he would help me get my songs to a point where I could release an album of my own stuff. He called it a goal for us all to work toward. I said, "I want to release my own stuff now." And that's when he got testy with me. He said, "Do you want to be a professional groupie? Is that what you want? Because the way it looks from here is that you have a chance to do something of your own, and you'd rather just end up pregnant, by Bowie. Let me take this opportunity to be clear about one thing. And now it's her talking, sorry. Let me take this opportunity to be clear about one thing. I never slept with David Bowie. At least, I'm pretty sure I didn't." I said, "I'm an artist, so you either let me record the album I want, or I'm not showing up ever." I shut the door sorry. Teddy said, "Daisy, someone who insists on the perfect conditions to make art isn't an artist. They are assholes. They are an asshole." I shut the door in his face. And sometime later that day, I opened my songbook and I started reading. I hated to admit it, but I could see what he was saying. I had good lines, but I didn't have anything polished from beginning to end. The way it was working then, I'd have a loose melody in my head and I'd come up with lyrics to it and then moved on and I had move on. Sorry. I didn't work on my songs after 1 or 2 rounds. I was sitting in the living room of my cottage, looking out the window, my songbook in my lap, realizing that if I didn't start trying, being willing to squeeze out my own blood, sweat, and tears for what I wanted, I'd never be anything, never matter much to it. And I would never be anything, never matter much to anybody. I called Teddy a few days later. I said, "I'll record your album. I'll do it." And he said, "It's your album." And I realized he was right. The album didn't have to be exactly my way for it to still be mine. Good lesson here. Simone. One day I was back in town. I went over to Daisy's place at the Marmont. And I was in the kitchen and I saw one piece of paper with a bunch of lyrics scribbled on it, taped to the fridge. I said, "What's this?" Daisy said, "It's my song that I'm working on." And I said, Don't you normally have dozens?" She shook her head and said, and I said, "Oh yeah, do you normally have dozens?" She shook her head and said, "I'm trying to get this one just right." Daisy. It was a big lesson for me when I was young, being given things versus earning them. I was so used to being given things that I didn't know how important it is for your soul to earn them. If I can thank Teddy Price for anything, and to be honest, I have to thank him for a lot of things, but if I had to pick one, it's that he made me earn something. And that's what I did. I showed up at the studio. I tried to stay relatively sober and I sang the songs they told me to sing. I didn't sing them the way they wanted all the time. I gave a little pushback, and I do think the album is better for my having held onto a little bit of my own style. But I did what I was asked of me. I played the game. And when we were done, 10 ballads in a pretty little package, Teddy said, "How do you feel?" And I told him I felt like I'd made something that wasn't exactly what I envisioned, but it was maybe good in its own right. I said it felt like me, but it didn't feel like me. And I had no idea whether it was brilliant or awful or somewhere in between. And Teddy laughed and said, "I sounded like an artist." I like that. I asked him what we should call it. And he said, he didn't know. I said, I want to call it First, because I plan on making a lot more of this. Nick Harris. Daisy Jones put out First at the beginning of 1975. I think Nick Harris is the music critic. Daisy Jones put out First at the beginning of 1975. They marketed her as Dusty's Springfield wannabe on the cover. She's looking in a mirror placed over a pale yellow background. It wasn't groundbreaking material by any means, but looking back on it, you can start to see the grit and the edge under the surface. Her first single. A version of One Fine Day was more complex than most other takes of the song, and her second single she recorded, a take of My Way Down, was warmly received. I mean, the album is fairly middle of the road, but it did what it needed to do. People knew her name. She did a spot on American Bandstand. She did a great spread in Circus with her trademark hoop earrings. She was gorgeous and outspoken and interesting. The music wasn't there yet, but you knew Daisy Jones was heading somewhere. Her moment was coming. And that's the end of this chapter. That was fairly short, as I told you. So it's interesting to see how Daisy has learned her way around the record label, and how grateful she feels in the end about this opportunity that she was given by the record company. But you can't have it your own way. You can't always have it in your own way, and you have to compromise and sacrifice a little bit of yourself and your ambition, and realize and come to the realization that the reality doesn't always meet the expectations that you had on something. And that's so true in so many ways in life, in work, especially when you create something of your own, and when you realize that it doesn't go the way that you had planned, but you just have to take it as it is, and just keep going, and just have in mind that it's just the start. She's just starting, and it's what will come next, that is important, that matters in the end. So that will matter in the end. So yeah, it's I quite like this chapter and the philosophy of it, and the new mindset. You can see here Daisy's new mindset in regards to the music industry and her own career, more specifically. Right, so that's it for me today. That's it for this session. I hope that you enjoyed this live reading. And remember that if you want to be part of the Daisy Jones and the Six live workshop, then subscribe now to the book club. And also remember that you can purchase the white teeth workshop. The recorded sessions are all there, and you just click on the link in the description, and you just purchase the 3 sessions as a one-off payment. So that means that you are not a member. This is a one-off payment. You're not gonna be a member as such by buying the workshop. So you just have access to the 3 live videos. Yeah, so that's it for me. I wish you a beautiful end of the day, and I will see you tomorrow for session 6. We are going to read pages 85 to 95. And yeah, it's called 7, 8, 9. And that might be probably a chapter about the 6. So we'll see what it's about. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful end of the day. Bye.